they started to appear. Now before this, there were the Romans. The Romans did make it. They had what was called Aquisum. They had a Roman settlement on the Danube, and they called it Aquisum because they used the baths, the thermal waters in the area. But after the fall of the Romans, in around 500 AD, another tribe coming from the mountains, they came around here and they used horses. Now these guys were fearsome. They would raid villages and then retreat. They never really technically had a proper settling point. They were considered the first people to fire arrows from horses. It said when they attacked a village, they would make the sky black with arrows. They would descend upon the village, raid, took what they needed and left. The men were short, stocky, they had scars on their faces. They had these interesting triangular hats. Does anyone know who I'm talking about? Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Yes, the Huns. The Huns are said to have originated in this area, and they were the most fearsome horsemen around. They terrorized Europe for about 400 years, and their most fearsome leader was a man named Attila. Attila the Hun. I'm sure you've heard of him. He was quite the terror. He would make it all the way to northern Italy. He would cross up through Slovenia, parts of Germany and northern Italy, where he would terrorize the northern Italians so much that those northern Italians were like, screw this, we're going out to live in the sea. And they lived in the lagoons in the sea found in the city of Venice. A lot of people attribute the founding of Venice to the people being too scared to be on the mainland, so they jumped ship or jumped land literally and set up Venice. Now Attila would come every 7 years or so, take what he needed and leave again. Now the thing was, he was so terrified because people did not know where his settlement was. You couldn't attack him because they didn't know where he was. He was just wherever his camp was. I'd have a camp, move on to the next bit, camp there, move on to the next bit. You just one day hear people going, oh my God, there's a bit of a terror, there's these horsemen. And within a few days, a horseman would arrive and attack. They could stand up on the horses, but their best thing was they could fire arrows from the horses. It is said they might have invented the stirrup as well. Now the Huns, it's not like they conquered areas, it's more they just took what they needed. And they would appear out of nowhere, as I mentioned before. So, I don't know, it's amazing. Imagine if you're just here and you could just see some Huns or something like that. Oh, what the hell's going on here? Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. Oh look, maybe it's Attila and the Huns, or maybe it's just a horseman, but look! Yeah, as they say, the Hungarian horses. Oh, look at this one over here, he's just learning still. But here we go. As I say, the Huns, they could just appear out of nowhere. No one knew where they would come from. Sometimes they'll just show up, just like this. Whips flailing in the air. Oh, geez, look at this. Hey, I know, does anyone want to whip now? Now, Attila terrorized Europe in his 60-year reign. Now, unfortunately, he came back for a wedding along the plains of Budapest and along the Danube. And this was his 7th wedding, by the way. And he turned up in his, the next morning after his big bridal party, he turned up dead. So I don't know what his wife did to him, but yeah, he did not make it after his 7th marriage. Good old Attila. But the legacy of the Huns lives on, and you will get to see some of the skills that have been passed down through the generations, hopefully today.
Look at that horse. Wow.